The red pill is obviously dying, right? The red pill has been lying to young men for years, and hopefully I expose some ideas behind the red pill. Now, this video is not to bash the red pill, but it's to make you realize that the red pill itself has a lot of truths, but there are things that they are not telling you, and because they fail to address those issues, that is why the red pill is actually dying right now, right? So, a couple of things I'll mention here about the ideas they portray to you, but I'm to give you some nuances so that they kind of improve your life and not leave you like an empty, shallow human being, right? So, yes, let's be honest. The red pill has helped a lot of men to self-improve. The red pill has allowed a lot of men, or rather, made a lot of men to hit the gym, right? But one thing you have to realize is, one, the red pill only gives you half truths. Half truths because, one, they tell you, oh, if you want to have a lot of women, right, become successful. Yes, as a man, success is very important. Oh, you have to become fit and healthy. Yes, it's very important to become fit and healthy. It's very important to become attractive. But those things are shallow. I mean, they are very shallow because what they want to tell you is, as a man, you need to have mannerisms, confidence, courage. They barely talk about the deep things about masculinity, simply because they know those things don't get attention. They know those things they are boring to talk about, right? Again, these guys barely speak about nuances. They barely talk about depth because, like I said, it is not attractive to the audience. As men, they tell you to do things that are very, very shallow and surface level. For example, oh, what should you do as a man to give you money, looks, and status? And if you really, really dig it, right, the red pill space sort of turns you to a guy that only seeks validation based on the body count, based on the number of bodies you can rack up, based on how much sex you can have. Now, if you really dig it, one main problem with the red pill space now is social media. The fact that the goal of the red pill space was to gather as much attention as possible. What happened? They became more extreme. Right? What happened is you had a lot of guys come into this, should I say, the arena with the idea of just harnessing your attention without giving you zero benefits. Without asking yourself, okay, without asking this guy, saying, okay, what is this guy trying to benefit from the red pill? They don't care. Because the main agenda is to sell you as much as whatever shitty product they have to sell to you, right? Again, so what happens is they become extreme, they rage bait you, they start bringing some kind of like stupid women onto their podcast. If you really, really dig it, right, most of the women they bring, they are kind of around the same mentality. They bring mostly 19 and 20-year-olds. And I kept on wondering, why the fuck are they bringing the exact sets of women? And it dawned on me that these women themselves are OnlyFans models, right? So what that means is these OnlyFans models, they see a need to profit off men. They see a need to show up on this podcast where a lot of men who don't understand the red pill, who are new to the red pill, right, will come and see them and then go ahead to actually check out their OnlyFans. So sometimes, and I've come to realize that because I used to watch Fresh and Fit until I realized that, hold on, most of these girls that are here, they are kind of curated. They are very intentional there. Then one thing you get to realize is, because of the red pill space, it's mostly for attention based. You have a couple of guys who understand a few aspects of the red pill, and before you know it, they begin to have the loudest voice in the room. Like I said, social media does not reward the best. It rewards the loudest. It rewards the dumbest. And if you kind of realize that the loudest, they are often the dumbest. It's only a very few smart people, right, who have been able to become very, very loud and still successful, right? But again, to an extent, they have to play stupid games. I'll tell you something that if you're somebody who is trapped at the shallow level of the red pill, what happens is you're going to be angry towards women, you're going to hate women, you're going to, but like I said, this video is to give you some level of nuances, right? Like I said, I really hope my channel does not become a red pill channel, but a channel that gives you practical advice, right? Feeds you psychology to make you live like a better life, make you live a better life with some reasonable level of understanding. So the second problem I have is what people call a high value man. Now, if you have never been opportune to meet really successful and masculine men, one thing you get to realize is the definition of high value men has been so watered down. Has been so watered down to what? External validation. What that means is, if you don't have a fast bank account, if you don't have so many cars, if you don't have a very high notch count, then you're not a high value man. Here's the harsh truth. Now, they talk about how high value men have a lot of sex. That is half truth, because if you have access to high value men, one thing you get to realize is they have access to a lot of sex but they don't have access, but they don't actually use all of that sex. Think about it, right? It could be like, if you had access to buy up all the cocaine in the world, will you sniff all the cocaine in the world? No, you wouldn't, because that slows down your productivity. So high value men, right? What they do is they know what they want. They go for what they want. Yes, do they have more women hanging around them that they can use? Yes, but they don't go after it. What that means is, as a man, one thing that makes you attractive, right, is your access to sex. Kind of goes both ways, right? So high value men, they have access to sex, but they don't have a high body count, a ridiculous high body count. Anybody telling you he has the body count of triple digits, quadruple digits, you really need to check that person. I mean, if it's triple digits, I get that, maybe if it's 100, but anybody going towards 900, bro, how the fuck do you know 900 people? Like, aren't you working hard? Aren't you working on something that's exciting to you? So, again, these guys who are talking about 4 digits body count, you need to be wary of them, right? Because, bro, all that shit about a high value man having a high body count doesn't really work that way. And I can tell you something, that if you have access to these guys are working as hard as possible. These guys are leveling up, right? Sex is not their priority. And I'll tell you something, right? I can say that because I have overcome the problem with sex for me, right? And I can tell you for a fact that sex is heavily overrated. That is why I said you really cannot understand this statement until you really start having quality sex. Now, I'm not here to tell you, oh, like I said, this video is not to like say the red pill is bad for it. I said, no, having sex is good, but they heavily overstate it. They make it sound like sex is oxygen. That the more sex you have, the more attractive you are. Prof, that's far from the truth, brother. Ridiculously far from the truth. Yes, like I said, be that guy who is capable of having sex, because without it, you really cannot brag about who you are. You just end up becoming somebody who is angry at the sake of it. But because you don't embody it, bro, you really cannot bash the idea of sex. Then if you kind of notice, right, they barely tell you about how to become this man. Yes, they tell you, oh, this is a high value man, high value men have this, but how many practical advice do you hear from these guys about high value men? Do they ever tell you about the mannerisms of high value men? Do they ever speak about it? Do they ever speak about the mental capacity of high value men? Do they ever speak about the core values of high value men? Because one thing for sure is, high value men, to an extent, they have values, they have beliefs, they have mannerisms, they have a way they compose themselves. How many of these guys talk about it? I'm missing, because they rarely do. Most of these guys on the Red Pill space, they're out the utter clowns. Now, I'm referring to those who are the most popular, because the ones that are kind of less popular, they are kind of like, they give you proper understanding, they give you in-depth understanding, but because they are deep, guess what? Nobody really pays attention to them. Look at people like Psych Hacks, right? Rich Cooper. They already have an audience of people who they try to give understanding. So the key thing here is, when you understand the red pill space is not for you to become angry at women, but to know how to navigate yourself as a man, so that dating will not hit you hard. So you don't get blinded by, by basic common sense. Again, becoming a high value man, they never speak about things like mastery, right? How you should master your emotions. They keep talking about, so they're even the ones that kind of made stoicism fucked up. If you understand that stoicism is not about suppressing your emotions, it's about how your emotions can work in your favor, how your thoughts, your actions, your feelings are supposed to be coordinated, and how they should help you move towards a goal for you. The first thing I'll talk about is, they barely give practical advice. They only give hypotheticals. They only give theories. But bro, what is the practical advice in your red pill content? I mean, other than get rich, other than have 6 packs, okay. But those are surface level things, right? What about things like, how can I fix my insecurities? You know, if you notice, they barely speak about how you should even have courage as a man. They barely speak about how you should have confidence as a man. They talk about how you should go and max out your looks. Okay. That's why there are a lot of guys right now who have done their looks maxing, everything, but their looks maxing to the T. But you've come to realize that these guys, that's all. Like, there's nothing in their life happening, right? They never tell you that your purpose, your vision as a man, literally speaking, is what makes your life attractive. It's what makes your life interesting. They barely talk about it, because why? It does not sell to them. It does not help them push the narrative. What they do is they mostly rage bait, right? And guess what happens? The worst part is that for it to become the next red pill, content creator or podcast out there, you need to be more extreme than the previous guys. Now think about it. What that means is, and for it to become more extreme, right, and to have more audience, you have to be much more aggressive. You have to be much more stupid. You have to be much more shallow, right? You have to lack depth, because the moment you begin to go in depth, bruh, people don't want to pay attention anymore, because a lot of guys out there are lonely, they are bitter, right? Now ask yourself, after watching all of this red pill content, if you don't believe me, ask yourself, what has improved in your life? What can you say, oh, okay, after watching this guy's content, this has improved in my life? Bam, basically nothing, right? Yes, after they've removed the motivational fluff, what else is there, right? Again, and this idea that, oh, as a man, you need sex. No, as a man, sex is okay, right? It's important. I'm not here to bash sex. But they make it sound like sex is a validation tool. I'm like, bro, and I'm the kind of person who tells you that, bro, you don't need your validation from sex. You don't need your validation from the red pill space. Most of these guys out there who haven't created this red pill content, a lot of them don't really have sex, or they have sex with broken women, right? Ask them, how will you get your high quality woman? I can bet you most of them can't answer that question. Hard stuff, real stuff, most of them are just broken. But one thing they never won't tell you is that, which is a very deep truth, is that you attract the woman that you are as a man. It's a very harsh truth, but they never tell you that. What if I told you that? Ask yourself a question. After watching all of this red pill content, do you know what you want in a woman? If you don't know what's in a woman, then what that means is the red pill is not your problem. Fix yourself. Ask yourself, what do you want in a partner? You see, it's easier to know for the woman to go for if you are very, very clear on what you want. And what I tell you is this, what I tell my guys is this: pick only 3 things you want in a woman. Just 3. Then when you pick those 3 things, it's easier for your brain to figure out where to get that kind of woman. Right? And that's something that the red pill space guys wouldn't tell you, because, bro, if they tell you it's deep, right? Again, the goal is not to go deep. The goal is to stay as shallow as possible, because if you go deep, deep does not guarantee them extra audience. But staying shallow, rage baiting men, rage baiting women, right, is exactly what they want. And guess what? It's exactly what social media needs to keep your attention. Prof, if you get to realize that these guys are just after your attention, you begin to think twice, right? Then what I'll tell you is this, which is very important, is the red pill, right, like I said, is very important. But somebody exposed something deeper to me. He says, instead of you becoming red pilled, why don't you become red pill aware? Red pill aware goes like this. It's like, okay, I understand women are hypergamous. Women want men that are successful. Women want men that are, what do you call it, that look good. The question now is, why? And do you want these things? As a man, why the fuck don't you want to look good? As a man, why don't you want to be successful? Right? Again, they will never tell you, they rarely tell you why these things are so. Women want attractive men, not because of social media standards, but because of they want the healthiest genes for their babies. If you have ever been to a hospital where women are giving birth, right, you get to realize that the complication it takes for having the wrong genes, delivering the wrong genes in your womb, is not so funny. As a man, your genes basically hold about 80% of the baby's health. But think about it. Why won't women be extra careful around the kind of genes they're taking? So when they say, oh, the ladies go for the alpha males or the charge, because, bro, those genes are fucking healthy. They're healthy as fuck. So why don't you go after having healthy genes? These guys barely talk about habits that will make you improve your genes as a man, right? Because let's be honest, going to the gym is one thing. If you're out there drinking a shit ton of beer, bro, your genes are at stake. If you're out there consuming a shit ton of sugar, bro, your genes are at stake. But they tell you this? No, because it does not help you further what it doesn't help them with attracting dumb men. It doesn't help them with it doesn't help them to improve your life, because like I said, what they want, what they care for is the views. You probably buying the product, you attending their events, they barely, okay, I'm trying not to call names here. At the same time, I'm kind of like slightly raged about their content, right? Because at some point when I was trying to understand the red pill space, these guys were pouring fuel on the fire, where I was, again, it was even around the COVID era where we all had a lot of free time, we were barely leaving our houses, and those guys had my attention. And I'm to be very honest, I might be that, yes. One thing I'm grateful for is Someone like Rich Cooper, who made me understand that the red pill is supposed to make you aware. What that means is, if you take the red pill tendency, okay, fine, women are hypergamous, quite alright here, but don't you want to become rich as a man? Don't you want to be able to provide as a man? As a man, don't you want to have healthy genes as a man? What else? Look good, be attractive. Status. Will status not help you? So all these things, I'll tell you, all these things, they matter, but to an extent. When, what's his name? When Rich Cooper made me realize that, bro, you have to chase money, not you have to chase excellence, not women. What I mean is, as early as possible, as a man, start leveling up. You see, when you start leveling up, women would always come, right? Women, the women you want to get, and he tells the story of a friend who always chased excellence from a very young age, and right now is in a very, very happy relationship. That man stayed masculine. His wife stayed feminine. I think they're in their 40s or 50s. And bro, these guys are still going hard as a couple. Don't you wonder for yourself? Now, how many of these red pill guys tell you things like this? Say, oh, I have a friend who in his 40s, who is married, he's masculine, his wife is feminine, his wife is enjoying the marriage, he's enjoying the marriage. How many times they bring that thing up? Because like I said, a lot of these guys are just guys who are angry, right? And their only goal is to make other men who are bittered come into their circle. So it's almost like it's a network of what? Lonely, angry, raged, bitter men. So for you to become red pill aware, what our advice is, go for the real creators. I won't call them content creators, right? Because these guys are not so loud, so I won't call them content creators. Go for the real creators who understand the concepts and who have thought about how the concepts will help you improve as a man. We have people like Psych Hacks, we have Rich Cooper. I think if you're looking for Rich Cooper, I think it's also entrepreneurs in cars. And I think Rich Cooper, to an extent, he tried to distance himself from all this BS that's happening all over, right? Because he kind of saw through their BS. Like, these guys, they said they understand these things, but they're only preaching half truths. They are only preaching half truths, and they're only preaching shallow stuff. So I think he kind of like separated himself. So those are the only two in my head right now. Then the ultimate advice I'll give to you as a man is this, right? It's not about looking for the next content creator to watch, because trust me, I'll tell you for a fact that in an age of AI, right, this whole red pill space is about to blow up in terms of, it's about to get 10 times worse in the whole AI space. Instead, I'll tell you this. Put down your phone, right? Start hanging around with real men that embody the values you want to have as a man. Men that are 5 to 10 years older than you, who are living the kind of life that you want. Bro, that is the best self-improvement / masculine idea you can ever have. But an extra tip, that idea is, there are 4 things I'll tell you that you probably need to look for in a man, right? At least on extent, just 4 things, which is 1, strength, physical and mental strength, very important. We have courage, right? We have courage, we have mastery, we have values. When I mean values, we have honor, integrity, discipline. Because without these things, I can't really call that person as a man, right? So my name is Ton Oreye. My content is to help you as a man level up in every area of life, for you to become well-rounded, for you to take ideas like this and make you improve your life as a man. If you like any of the ideas you heard in this video, please share with a friend. Talk to you soon, and bye for now, brother.